My name is Audal. It's a hard name to pronounce, so you can call me Edo, no problem. I'm the former CEO and co-founder of Nuclea, today Progress Agentic RAG, and I'm very happy to be introducing Progress Agentic RAG to all of you and explain a bit more about RAG, Agentic RAG, explaining all the capabilities that you will be able to get with the platform, and answering any question that you might have. So, RAG is a hot topic, so probably all of you at some point read something about RAG, or when you are scrolling in LinkedIn, everybody is building a RAG pipeline. And maybe I would like to start with the most basic things about RAG, which is what retrieval augmented generation is. So a very extremely simplistic explanation about what RAG is using your company's data, so the data that you have, which is not publicly available for the language models. So it's the availability for you to use that data together with the power of language models. So sometimes, or almost every day, probably you are using ChatGPT or Gemini or Anthropic, and when you ask a question to those models, the answer that you get is the knowledge that the large language model already have. But when you want to query, when you want to use the power of generative AI together with the data which belongs to your organization, you cannot ask a question to ChatGPT. You have to use a RAG pipeline, which means that you are going to be able to query your private data together with the generative capabilities of the language models, while making sure that you keep data privacy and you keep data security and data governance. So that's a very basic explanation on what RAG is. So thank you, Ramon. An applause to Ramon. Thank you very much. So we've seen what RAG is, but today everyone is talking about AI agents. So AI agents in McDonald's, AI agents in Copilot, AI agents everywhere. Everyone is talking about AI agents. But I would like also to spend 20 seconds explaining what AI agents are, because at the end they are extremely simplistic things. So an AI agent, it's a piece of software. It's nothing else than a piece of software that uses language models to do specific tasks. And that's all. So there is no magic behind. It's not a little monster that deploys something in your infrastructure. An AI agent, it's a piece of software that uses LLMs to do a very specific task. So when we put together both concepts, AI agents and RAG, we have Agentic RAG. Agentic RAG then is putting together all the capabilities of being able to query your own data, your own private data in your company, together with AI agents to perform very specific tasks on top of your data. And I will provide some examples on what those tasks might be in the context of Progress Agentic RAG. So, and that's all. There is no magic. There is no things that we can understand. Retrieval augmented generation using LLMs together with your data. Agentic RAG using the power of AI agents on top of your data to get better answers. So today we are introducing Progress Agentic RAG. And my idea today is I will try to explain what we are doing in a way that everyone can understand without going very deeply onto technical details. I will get into some technical details. I have to do it. Anyway, any question that you might have after the talk, we will have a room for 10 minutes, so you can ask any question that you would like to ask. And this is a bit what Progress Agentic RAG is. So every Thursday, usually, I have lunch, with my nieces. And every single Thursday, my nieces ask me, okay, Audal, what is Progress Agentic RAG? So they are 9 and 10 years old, so it's pretty hard to explain what Progress Agentic RAG is to them. So basically, when they ask me this question, I always answer the same. Progress Agentic RAG, it's the end-to-end agentic modular RAG as a service platform based on quality. They don't understand anything, but they stop asking, which is the goal of answering this. But this really defines what Progress Agentic RAG is. And it explains some of the concepts that are extremely important in any RAG pipeline, especially in Progress. So we are end-to-end. That means that we handle the data from where the data is, all the ingestion, until the user has an answer, it has an output. We are modular because there is no one-size-fits-all RAG pipeline in the market. So there is no a universal way to deploy a RAG pipeline to make sure you will get the same the best results you will get the best results always. It's not the same if you want to deploy a RAG pipeline for a legal department or for the marketing department or for a financial institution. So the only way you can make sure that you can deploy a solution that is able to provide the right answers, it's by providing modularity and letting the customer fine-tune the different process that I will explain now, so they can make sure that they get the right answers. And we are RAG as a service because we provide the agentic RAG as a service to our customers, and we are based on quality. And quality for us, it's an obsession. So one of the things we realize is that for organizations to decide to deploy RAG in production, making sure that we can deliver quality-based outputs, it's a must. Yogesh and MJ, today morning, they were explaining how important it is to provide trust AI to customers. So this is 100% aligned on how we can provide visibility on the quality of the outputs when we deploy the RAG pipeline. So what you've seen here in those different colors are the main steps of a RAG pipeline. So everything begins with the data ingestion. With the Progress Agentic RAG, you can use the pipeline with any file type, almost any file type. That includes not only PDF, PowerPoints, you can also use video, audio, any file type. And now I will cover all the process of the RAG pipeline until you get the output. So basically what happens when you start using the RAG pipeline is that you start uploading data. You have PDF, you have videos, you have customer request, whatever. So basically what happens, let's take as example a PDF. You take a PDF and you upload the PDF into the platform, and we are running several processes here. The first one is we extract the full text of the PDF. So you upload a file, we extract the full text. If there are images inside the PDF, we get the image, we generate the description on the image, and we also OCR. That means that we extract the text on the image. If there are tables in the document, we are also able to detect the tables, and we extract the tables of a PDF, as I said before, so you can query and you can ask questions on top of tables of a PDF. Once we have the full text, once we have everything that we can extract from the file, we split the content into chunks. A chunk, let's say the definition of a chunk is a paragraph, more or less. So we take the full text and we split the full text into paragraph. Once we have the paragraph, we run a name entity recognition model, which is meant to detect the key insights of every single paragraph. That means that, for example, out of the box, we are able to detect name of people or locations, dates, quantities, a lot of different name entities, and we build out of those name entities that we detect a knowledge graph. Before, I explained that agents, AI agents, they are not monsters. They are a piece of software that are meant to run a specific task. At ingestion time, you can apply AI agents. And for example, one of the AI agents that you can apply, it's an agent that can build the knowledge graph based on your data, not based on the generic name entities that we recognize. You can define your own knowledge graph extraction. So we get the full text, we split into chunks, we detect the name entities, and then, based on the different paragraphs that we detect, we generate the embeddings. Embeddings, again, when my nieces ask me, okay, what is an embedding? The first answer is an embedding is a way to take text and convert the text into numbers. And that's all. That's a very basic explanation, but it works. So once we have the paragraph and the name entities, we take the paragraph and we convert it into text. We take the text, and we convert it into numbers. And here we find the first element of modularity in the platform. When you start working with the platform, you can decide what embedding model you would like to use. We do provide our own embedding models, but we also integrate with third-party embedding models like OpenAI ones or Google or any model from Hugging Face. And the nice thing in here is that you can decide to create those numbers, to generate the embeddings, using different embedding models at once. So you can have different embedding representations, and at later stage, when you start getting the outputs, understand which embedding model works best for your use case. Once we have everything, we take all the data and we store it in the database. The database is a database that it's meant to provide the best possible retrieval augmented generation experience. It's a database built for retrieval augmented generation, and it has something that it's extremely important, which is that since we extract all the data, we get the full text, the chunks, the name entities, and the embeddings. We store that data into the index. So the database, it has a full text index with all the text from the files. It has a chunk index with all the chunks from all the data that you have. It has a knowledge graph based on the name entities that we get at ingestion time. And we have a vector index with all the embeddings, with all the numbers. And why is this extremely important? Because at retrieval time, retrieval is the king of RAG. No good retrieval, no good answer. It's just not possible. So at retrieval time, we find the second element of modularity in the platform. So our customers can decide among different retrieval strategies, up to 30 different retrieval strategies, no code. There is no need to write a single line of code. And when a user asks a question, first of all, we understand the user intent. So you ask a question, we understand what do you want to achieve by asking that question, and then we go, once the user asks a question, we go to the database and we retrieve, based on the 4 different indexes that we have, the data, the information we know it will answer your question. So user asks a question, we go to the database and we retrieve, based on the 4 indexes, the context that it contains the answer that you are looking for, and then we take that context, we take that answer, and we send it to a language model. At the language model side, we integrate with all enterprise LLMs in the market, with all enterprise-ready LLMs in the market. So basically what we are doing is we take the context, we send it to the LLM, customers can decide what LLM they want to use, and once the LLM provides back the answer based on the user question, we generate the output. We provide the answer to the user. At output time, it's extremely important to understand a couple of things. As I said before, quality is a must if you want to deploy, if you are a company and you want to really deploy a RAG pipeline in production. At output time, we are, first of all, evaluating the quality of the output. So we have Remy. Today morning, probably you have heard a couple of times about Remy. Remy, it's a language model as a judge. It's a language model that it's trained to judge the output of the other language models. So with every single output, we provide a quality scoring. And together with the quality scoring, we also provide citations. So we show to the user the specific parts. Sorry, Ramon, I will need you. No, I don't need you, Ramon. So with every single output, we provide the quality scoring so the customer can understand how good the output is. So to go a bit deeper on Remy, because this is an interesting concept to understand, I'm not going to go deep on that, but it's important to at least mention a bit. Remy, it's an LLM as a judge, as I said before, which is measuring 3 different parameters: the context relevant, the answer relevance, and the groundness. And those three parameters are evaluating different parts of the RAG pipeline. So the context relevant basically evaluates how relevant, how important is the context based on the user query, the context that we retrieve from the database. The answer relevance, it's evaluating how the answer is relevant based on the context that we send to the LLM. And the groundness, it's basically evaluating how the answer answers the question. So more or less like this. And those are the parameters that we are evaluating in every single query that users are doing in Nuclea, in Progress Agentic RAG, sorry, to basically prove to our customers that they are deploying the RAG pipeline in the best quality possible. So let's see how Progress Agentic RAG works. What you are seeing right now is the dashboard of the API, the dashboard of the platform. And before starting to show how it works, I would like to explain in a second what a knowledge box is, because this is an important concept on the platform. So once you create an account, you can create different knowledge boxes inside your account, and you have to understand a knowledge box like an index of information in which you can start uploading data, and each knowledge box is 100% isolated one to the other. So let's imagine that we have created our knowledge box, start using the platform, start uploading data. It's really straightforward. So you can either use the API endpoint to start pushing the data into the platform, or you can use the SDK or the CLI as an example. You could use also the upload options that we offer directly in the dashboard. You can upload files, folders, URLs, sitemaps, so almost any file type and in almost any language. Or eventually you could use the synchronize, which is a way to keep the synchronization between the original source of data and the Progress Agentic RAG platform. So let's go back to the main dashboard, because once you create a knowledge box, you can decide where the data from that specific knowledge box you would like to be. So you can select between the different regions that we offer, Europe, US, and others that we have already. You can also decide what LLM, what generative model you would like to use by default in that specific knowledge box. And you can also define the embedding model that you would like to use by default in the knowledge box. So let's imagine that we have some financial reports that we would like to use together with Progress Agentic RAG, but before starting to upload the data, we would like to enrich the data from the reports, and we are going to use, to do that enrichment, we are going to use some agents. So agents, you have to understand the agents are as a way to enrich the data that you are uploading to the platform. And here you can see the 6 different agents that we offer today. We have a labeler that it's a way to auto-classify data, not only based on the document level, so this is a contract, but also at paragraph level. So this is no competing clause, as an example. We have a generator, which it can be used as an example to generate JSON outputs based on top of your unstructured data, or it can also be used as a way to answer the same set of questions on top of all your documents. So let's take as an example that you have 100,000 contracts and you want to ask the same questions to all of the contracts that you have in the platform. You would like to know who signed the contract, when the contract was signed, what are the penalties on the contract. So you can define a set of questions, and then the generator agent would basically answer automatically the same set of questions on top of those contracts. We also have a graph extraction, which it lets you define your own name entities and the relation between the name entities that you would like to extract to build a knowledge graph. We have an agent that generates Q&As on top of your data, and then we have a couple of agents a bit more focused on security. A content safety agent, which detects potential harmful information that you have in the knowledge box, or another one called LLM security, which is meant to detect potential malicious prompts that you have in your data. Setting up the agents is extremely easy. Just let me show you a very simple example. In that case, this is an agent, a labeler, that it's meant to automatically label specific paragraph from our information. And in that case, it's an agent that it only applies to text blocks, so it only classifies paragraph. And the way it works is that in that case, you can set up a bunch of labels, and in natural language, you can define when that specific label should be applied. So it's very easy to set up. You define the labels, you describe when you would like that agent to classify, to add that label to a specific paragraph, and you can also select the LLM that you would like to use together with that agent. And you can save, and the agent starts running, and it can be applied either in the existing information that we already have in the knowledge box, or to every single new document that we upload into the platform. Let me show you an example. So if we go here to the resource list, we can see all the information that we have in the platform. So just as an example, I will show you this specific resource. In that case, we can see that this is a PDF. Let's see how the PDF looks like. So it should be a pretty long one. So let's wait. Yeah, here we have. So this specific PDF, this financial report, it's a 75 pages PDF. You can see that we have images and we have obviously a lot of text. We have diagrams, we have tables, so it's a financial report. So to explain a bit how all the process of indexing data works, we can see here that the first step that we do is we extract the full text of the file. So everything you see here, it's the full text of the file. Once we have the full text of the file, we extract every single image in the PDF or in the document. Here you can see that we managed to extract the main image of the report. We also generate a description, a glass of water on a blue background, and in case the image it would have some text, we also OCR the images. Once we have the full text, we have extracted the images and we have OCR the file. We also detect tables. So just to show you an example, here we can see all the tables that we managed to extract from the report. So you can ask questions on top of those specific tables and you can get the answers. And we can also see here the labeler that we explained before in action. So just to provide you an example, we can see here that the agent, those are the paragraph that the agent label based on the labels that we provided. So in that case, this paragraph is talking about oil as an example, or this paragraph is talking also about North America, or this paragraph is talking about gas. So this is the agent auto-classifying the data, no human intervention, so everything is happening 100% automatically. So once the agent has done the different jobs that it can perform, we also detect the name entities on the documents. And here you can see that the different entities that we managed to recognize from the document. Out of the box, Progress Agentic RAG detects 17 different type of entities. As an example, here, name of people. So all the list you see here are the name of people that we detect from the report, and we also highlight those names for better visibility. And those are the name entities that we use to generate the knowledge graph. So once we have everything, and before showing you how the search works, you can also define and select the language model that you would like to use for the output. So we integrate with all production enterprise ready LLMs in the market. And you can not only decide to use one or the other by selecting one or the other, you can also define the prompt and the system prompt in case you would like to define your prompt or your system prompt. So how it works. So basically, even if we are an API, we also provide this search experience to our customers so they can start understanding how the RAG pipeline works and how can they fine-tune the different options that we offer to make sure that they get the right output. So let us start by asking a question. For example, the gold price evolution 23 versus 24. So what we're doing right now is based exclusively on the data that we have in the knowledge box. First of all, we are providing the answer, and together with the answer, we also deliver those numbers that you see here, which are the citations. So citations are the specific parts of the documents that we use to generate the answer. So then the user can basically check the paragraph and read the full paragraph that we use to generate the answer, or it can click to that specific paragraph and we open the file and we highlight the part of the document that we use to generate the answer. So what you've seen here, this behavior, it's the 100% out-of-the-box behavior that we provide with Progress Agentic RAG. No fine-tuning, nothing. Sometimes the out-of-the-box behavior, it's not the right one, because you might have different use cases, or you would like to retrieve the data on a specific way to make sure you can tackle the use case in the right way. So that's why in here we start providing the different options our customers can use to fine-tune the way they want to not only provide search and sort the search results, but also how they want to retrieve data from the database. To go fast on showing some of those options, we have three different blocks in here: the search options, the generative answer and RAG, and the display results. I'm mainly going to cover the first two blocks, search options and generative answers and RAG. So in the search options, to show you fast, you can apply a lot of different techniques. You can apply also filtering. So you might be, for example, able to ask questions only on top of paragraph talking about gold, or documents talking about Germany. So you can, using the filters, offer filtered search as an example. Let me close this. Another example, for example, another options that we have here, you can apply and you can play with different embedding models. So to see how each of those different embedding models perform, you can apply semantic re-ranking by just activating or not this option. You might apply also reciprocal rank fusion, and you can also decide the boosting factor. You can also play with the K-top results and a lot of different options. Another option that we offer to our customers to fine-tune the way not only we sort the results, but the way we retrieve the data, so they can make sure that they get the right context from the database, it's letting them to really play with different retrieval strategies. So in that sense, we offer a full section, which is called retrieval RAG strategies, and you can apply up to 30 different retrieval strategies without writing a lot of code. Again, as an example, you might want to apply textual hierarchy, and basically that means that you might want to use the title of the document together with the relevant information from the document to answer a specific query. So if you would like to use also the title, to take into consideration the title, it would be as easy as applying this option here. You might want to expand the context that you retrieve from the database by including neighboring paragraph. So what basically this does is it does not only take the relevant paragraph from the data, but it also takes paragraph from above and from below, so you can make the context bigger. You might want to decide to apply full resources to the LLM, not only specific paragraph, or use metadata at retrieval time, or leverage the knowledge graph as an example at retrieval time as well. And we have really a lot of different options here. So once you have played with the different options that we offer here, and you have applied and tested different retrieval strategies, different models, you can save that configuration. So we offer the option to save those configurations, and then once you have saved those different configurations, you can start playing with the RAG lab. So RAG lab, it's a very, very interesting functionality that it lets our customers to compare how the different LLMs would provide an answer on top of a specific question, and how different retrieval options would again answer to the same question. Let's first go in the prompt lab. So as I said, you can define a set of different questions, up to 5, and then you can select the different LLMs that we provide, so you can see the based on the same question and based on the same context, how those different LLMs would answer to those questions. So to provide an example, we are going to select ChatGPT 4o together with Anthropic 3 Opus and Google Gemini Flash 2.5. So the only thing we have to do is ask Progress Agentic RAG to do those queries with the same context using different models, and we can start already seeing here how those different models would answer to the same question, gold price evolution 23 versus 25. So you can compare the different outputs, and you can not only compare the different outputs, but you can also understand the amount of tokens each model would cost per query. So you can really have a better understanding on the quality of the output together with the token consumption of those different models. This is the prompt lab. We also have the RAG lab. RAG lab is also very interesting because the essence of the RAG lab is very close to that. So you can, very close to the prompt lab, you can define several questions. And in that case, instead of comparing different LLMs, we are comparing different retrieval strategies. So in that case, we just to show you, we are going to use our own standard out of the box retrieval strategy, and we are going to select another one that we have here, just as an example, in which it lets you compare not different LLMs, but different retrieval strategies. So then you can see here the different outputs that those different retrieval strategies generate, and then you can really decide the best combination between retrieval agents, the quality outputs that you need, and the LLM.
Now that we are talking about quality, I would like to show you how we deliver quality metrics so customers can understand how the quality of the output of the pipeline, of the RAG pipeline, is behaving. So basically we offer these metrics in here, which are based on Remy. Remy, it's the LLM as a judge that basically is evaluating the outputs of the RAG pipeline, and Remy provides an overview on how the quality of the pipeline is evolving over the time, and basically is evaluating 3 different parameters: the answer relevance, the context relevance, and the groundlessness. So based on those 3 different parameters, customers can understand, first of all, how those parameters are in terms of quality, and then they can also understand if they have to eventually improve some of the retrieval strategies, as an example, that they are applying, because customers are asking questions in a very specific way that maybe you didn't think about, or maybe because there is not enough information in the knowledge box, so customers are not getting, or users are not getting, the right answers. Just to provide you an example in here we can see that at some point the answer relevance, it was not great. So if we compare the answer relevant chart with the context relevant chart, we can see that more or less at the same time period, the context relevance, so the retrieval strategy that we were using to provide answers, to send it to the LLM, so to provide answers to the user, it was neither great. So basically what we did is we changed the retrieval strategy. So basically we changed the way we go to the database and we get what is relevant to answer to the user query. So you can see here that we start improving a lot the quality of the context that we were getting. And you can see here how then the answer relevance also improved a lot. So quality metrics are a way for customers to understand over the time how the quality of the pipeline is. It's also very useful to understand what in the RAG pipeline should be fine-tuned to make sure that you deliver good outputs, and also we deliver the same metrics based on every single question that it's asked to the Progress Agentic RAG, so you can have visibility not only on the overall queries that you are getting, but also in every single specific query in the RAG. That's what we wanted to show today. You feel free to test it. You can go to the progress.com webpage and find the Progress Agentic RAG section and try yourself. You can sign up.
Question. Test.
I'm just curious, like, what the capacity is for the knowledge boxes and what some of the options are for syncing, like whether you could sync to a AWS storage bucket or something similar.
So the capacity is very interesting. I will let Mathieu answer to that. But the data syncing is also a huge topic. So with some of the tooling that Progress has right now, we are already talking on how we can leverage that tooling to increase the number of sources you can use together with Nuclea. Besides that, which is not available today, it will be probably in several months, we offer a framework for integrations, which is open source. It's very easy to handle. That's the way we go today. But probably in a few months' time, we are going to have integrations based on products that Progress already have in place. And about the data capacity?
So very good question on the data capacity, because you're right. I mean, what you've seen on screen here is something that is really interesting from a user perspective, from a prototyping perspective, from a small to medium-sized deployment perspective. But how does it scale? And for us, all of the user aspect, all of the feedback aspect was a key decision in our investment. The scalability aspect comes from plugging this infrastructure, this platform, at the back of the Progress data platform and bringing MarkLogic scale to the data that we can handle. So can we do 5 petabytes of data, 200,000 concurrent users on Nuclea today? No. Can the front end plug that in front of MarkLogic deliver that? Yes, and that's our objective. That's why we've made that strategic investment.
Any other questions?
Okay, if there are no more questions, don't forget to scan the QR and try yourself. And yeah, happy to answer any questions afterwards that you didn't dare to answer to us today. So thank you very much.